Welcome. This will be a class for anyone with limited mobility for any reason, particularly the ability to be standing for a whole practice, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or get up and down from the floor. And I'm in a chair with a pillow behind my back, so I have a little bit more support for my lumbar spine. And you want to pick a chair that you can sit in with your feet resting on the floor. So we'll work head to toe and get into all the things we could do in a practice where we're up and down from the floor or we're standing. We'll do a lot of those same things. There will be some standing with the support of the chair. But we'll start just in a seat, upright seat. So you want to find some length through your spine without hunching your shoulders. So I think it's helpful for me to imagine you could even grab your hair and pull on your hair, like you're lengthening your spine through the top, through the crown of your head. Feel your sit bones firmly into the chair. Eyes are soft or closed. Rest your hands on your thighs or in your lap. If you have a hand mudra that you like, you could rest your hands in the hand mudra of your choice. And now we want to just settle before we start our practice of movement. If there's any agitation in your field of energy today, at this moment, try lengthening the exhale. If you'd like to build a little energy, you can try lengthening the inhale. And if you're feeling just right, keep that going with a nice balanced inhale and exhale. Bring your awareness to your sit bones, your hips. Feel for an even sitting. Bring your awareness to your shoulder tops. Allow your shoulder tops to relax. And bring your awareness to your the area of the chin, around the chin, the jaw. Chin is lined up even with the floor or parallel to the floor, and then draw your chin back like you're giving yourself a double chin, and feel how that lengthens the back of your neck. Have just enough effort to keep this posture. Notice your energy. Are you feeling in a hurry? You need something more? Can you just be here right now in this emptying before we fill? And then lift your gaze, open your eyes, inhale your arms out and up, touching palms, and then exhale, turn your palms out and let your arms float down. Take your hands back to center, so you this nice big inhale, palms come together. Turn the palms out, exhale, let the arms float down. And the next time your arms float down to your sides, just bring your hands back to your thighs or resting together, and then roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Reverse the direction of the shoulder roll. And then draw your right arm across your front of your body. And just a teeny bit of a twist as you open up, lengthen the front of the shoulder. Take the left arm across and do the same thing, capturing it with your right elbow, right crook of the elbow. And back to center. Interlace your fingers and press your palms out in front of you, and then sweep that all up. Drop your shoulder tops. Reaching the palms up towards the ceiling, but settling the shoulders down. And then release. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms away, sweep the palms up, and let the arms float down. Do that a few more times, making sure you change. Also interlace in the opposite orientation, sort of the funny grip for you. And release down. Two more times. And then we'll bring arms out to a T. We'll overemphasize the internal, external rotation from the shoulder. So you're going to kind of shrug your shoulders up as you kind of hunch forward a little bit and get the arms to internally rotate. So palms are facing back behind you. And then open up and externally rotate. So internally rotate, externally rotate. And so you want this to be from the shoulder all the way down to the fingertips and not just in the wrist, right? So internally rotate, externally rotate. Now you can add a little bit of cat-cow movement in your spine So when you internally rotate, tuck your chin and round your back slightly. And when you externally rotate, lift your heart and arch your back, your low back. So the cat-cow movement is happening as you go through this. And your arms might be starting to fatigue a bit. See if you can stick with it. Just a few more rounds. Then you're going to drop your hands to the side, take the back of your chair. If your pillow's in the way here, like mine is, I'm going to slide forward, take the back of my chair, and I'm going to squeeze shoulder blades together as I lean forward. So palms are in. I'm taking the back of the chair as I pitch forward, opening the heart space. Good. And then release. Let your hands rest in your lap. Just feel the tingle, feel the sensation of that work. Okay, and then you want your strap. You're going to put a loop in your strap that's about shoulder distance apart. If you need to stop video for that, that's all good. Sorry, I didn't cue that you'd need a strap and 2 blocks, but you need a strap and 2 blocks. Standard props usually, but strap and 2 blocks. So take your time to get that. And then we're going to take the strap above the elbows, between the elbows and the shoulders. And that loop is about shoulder distance apart. And then arms up. My face will be obscured here. Arms up, pressing out against the strap. Now, you want to take note, if you're overarching in your back to make this happen, can you keep a neutral, more of a neutral spine so you're not arching excessively in your back to have this happen? Just this work in the shoulders. So pressing out against the strap. Back of the neck is long, head is neutral. And you're going to start to create some heat here. And that's all good. And release. Set your strap to the side, just let your arms come down and relax. Okay, bring your right elbow over your left elbow. You could take your shoulders here, back of the hands together, or possibly wrap. So right elbow over left elbow, and then you wrap your forearms so that your palms are touching each other or close to touching each other. And then lifting fingertips up towards the ceiling. So the eagle arms, Garudasana arms. And unwind. And then take the opposite orientation, left elbow into right elbow. Back of the hands together, hug or wrap the forearms so the palms touch and lift. So I'm aiming for my upper arms kind of level or parallel to the floor. Shoulder blades are separated from one another. Squeezing this business all together. Back of the neck long. Imagine that you can pull your hair here and lengthen through the crown of your head. Unwind, unwind. Rest your hands in your lap or on your legs. Okay, we'll come back. We'll give the shoulders a little bit of a rest and we'll come back to those later. So now here we're just going to take the feet. You can't see my feet, so I'll change my orientation just a bit. So sitting upright in the chair, you're just going to tap your right toes out in front, left toes, right toes, left toes. Now this doesn't feel like it's a lot of effort, and it shouldn't feel like a lot of effort. We're just kind of working with fascia here, tapping the right toes, tapping the left toes. And I just really encourage you not to make it more effortful than what it is. Yeah. Then change the pattern, maybe one foot out, the other foot out, one foot back, the other foot back. So a little brain work. Both feet out, both feet back, both feet out, both feet back. Great, then come back to center. And now if you could slide forward on your chair so that you're right on the edge of your chair. You're going to bring your right foot to the right side, slide forward, and turn your toes under. Drop your knee towards the floor. Okay, if you need to, some of you might need to grab the back of the chair, a little balance there. And just see if you can get a stretch on the bottom of your foot here. So you're pressing your toes into the floor, your knees drop down to the floor. So a little stretch in the front of the quad and in the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia. And then we'll take the other side. Great. And come back. We'll come back to the feet as well. So now just hands hovering above your legs, and we'll lift knees to touch hands. If this is in your ability. And if you've got something going on where you can't do this on one side or can't do it at all, then you can just hover the hands and just close your eyes and imagine that the legs, see your legs touching hands. Then we're going to switch it up and do opposite hand to opposite thigh, opposite leg. So just reaching over. Crossing midline. Could increase the lift. It's a little more energetic. And cease to do that. If again, you can slide forward on your chair and take your right foot back. I've got a a spindle underneath the chair, which my foot is just resting against. And this just allows me to come to this nice stretch for the front of the thigh. So my toes are turned under, but you could also have the top of your foot into the floor, a little different stretch. Ooh, and I'm finding if I put the top of my foot into the floor and lean back, that even gives me a little bit deeper lengthening in the front of the quad. Let's try that with the other foot. Back. And we'll get into lengthening the quads again shortly. Okay, great. So let's come back. And now let's just take a couple of forward folds. So spread your legs wide and lift through your crown of your head, and then exhale to fold between your legs. Take your time here. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the head, lift the chest, and then come all the way up. And then exhale to fold again. Inhale. And this time, just take your exhale seated. Great. All right, and bring the arms out to T again. And here you're just going to open and close your hands. Spread the fingers wide when you open your hands. And just start to quicken the pace. And you'll start to feel your forearms fatigue, or a good strong sensation in the forearms. And then shake out your hands in all different directions. Great. And then come back to your seat. Okay, we'll take the right leg out, over to the right, back to center, down to the floor. Lift the left leg, take it out to the left, back to center, down to the floor. So stay upright here. If you need to use your arms to keep you sitting nice and tall in the chair. So leg comes out, as you know, it might not lift all the way to parallel, and then out to the right, back to center, and down. Left leg, out, back, and down. 2 more times on each side. Oh, my feet are clean. Yeah, they look good. Great. Now go back to that upper thigh stretch. So tuck your foot under your chair, lean back. It's a little counter from what we just did. And stretch the hip flexor. Lengthen through your quadricep, the front of your leg. Big group of 4 muscles there. Try the other side. Okay, and release. Sit up nice and tall. Take a breath. Yeah. We'll take the left ankle on top of the right knee. This might be plenty of sensation for you in the outer left hip. If you can fold forward slightly and feel a little more sensation there. Maybe coming down onto your forearms. If you need to, put a block under the foot that's on the floor, just to get that a little bit more, get the whole business set up a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not searching for the word, but the block under the foot might help you access a little bit deeper sensation. Feels right to me. And depending on the length of your legs and size of your chair and all that. So it could be 1 block, 2 blocks. Yeah, play around with that. Great. And I'm getting a pretty good sensation out there. Yeah, so I was reminded listening to one of my favorite podcasts with Matthew Stafford. He's a yoga teacher that lives most of his life in a wheelchair. And he talks about the whole of yoga being in one pose. If we're limited in any way at some point in our lives, can we still do yoga? Sure, we can. And yoga, the whole of yoga can be in one pose. So what's the reason that you come to this practice? Can your whole of yoga be in one pose? Awareness, attention, or discriminatory wisdom in your body, etc. Release that. And take the other side. So I'm not going to put my foot up on the block on this side because this is my current situation is a brand new knee, right knee here, the one I have lifted. And as I heal, my body is doing everything it can to heal, but it's not quite the same as it was before. So for me, I can't quite get the same amount of flexion in my knee. But here I want to get the sensation in the outer right hip. So I was just explaining why I didn't put my foot on the block for this side. Just a little too tight in my knee. Yeah. Okay, and you can let that side go. Okay, so now we're gonna get up from the chair. I'm gonna scoot back so I'm in the view here. So when we get up from a chair, we want to lean forward, bring the hands forward, stand up, come back to sit down, lean forward, bring the hands forward, press up. Really press up through your legs. If this is not in your wheelhouse right now for any reason, you can lean forward. Imagine you're standing up, but don't stand up. Otherwise, if you can make this happen, lean forward, press into the feet, lift, and stand. And this is actually, bring my hands forward to help me. This is actually this was one of my PT exercises. Still engaged in doing some PT for my knee, and I couldn't do this. I could not do this first month or two probably, and really just recently have been able to feel like I can do this standing on both feet evenly, pressing up through both legs evenly. I was definitely going over to the left, right? So with my new right knee. So lean forward, hands forward, up and down. Good. And then we'll settle. Take your strap again. Come back up to the shoulders. Just rest your strap in your lap and find a palm down grip on your strap. We're going to bring the strap up over our head and back behind. You'll feel this in the front, the chest muscles lengthening there, and you might have to play with your grip. So they'll just come forward in front of the head and back. And we call this flossing. We're flossing the shoulders, opening those front chest muscles. And after you've gone a few rounds just with this easy flossing, take one hand down towards your chair, the other elbow will bend sort of behind your bend, and that hand will be behind your head. All right, so I'm gonna go back and forth with this motion. To me, it feels like if you had a one of those big brushes and you were scrubbing your back in the shower, right? Feels like the action. Okay. And then the next time I bring my right hand down, I'm gonna turn sideways for this. I'm gonna release the belt and turn my palm out to take the strap, the belt. And then I'm just gonna walk my hands towards one another, my right hand up the belt. And I'm gonna pull the belt apart with my hands. What I don't want is to go so far or so close to the hands, so close to one another that I have too much flexion in my right shoulder. So I want my right shoulder to stay open. You can see that from this view. Yeah. And slide my hands back, find that big wide stance with the hands again. And now just go back and forth a few times before you go to the other side. This time, the left hand will come down towards the chair, right elbow's bent, arm behind your head, like if you're going to do a tennis serve. Release the left hand and take the strap palm out. Okay, so you're reaching the hand, the left hand can go up the belt, the strap. So this is the Gomukhasana arms. If we're in Gomukhasana, right, the cow face pose. But keep the front of the left shoulder, keep it open, so not too much flexion in the left shoulder. All right, so sometimes in our attempt to go deeper into the pose, we actually counter what's possible in the pose, or what the intent of the pose is. So this is to open the shoulders. Notice if you're overarching your back, can you keep your back body nice and long, even through your low back? And I would suggest that in our practice of yoga, a deeper practice, a stronger practice, if you will, is really just a deeper awareness. Can we shift our thinking? It's not about sitting deeper or holding longer. Maybe holding longer helps us with this, but it's deeper awareness. It's deeper awareness. What's going on with me right now? What's happening in my body? Okay, release that bottom hand. Take the strap. And now just pull the strap apart above your head. And slowly release. Come to the front. Drop your strap. Release any effort in your arms. Just let your hands rest on your legs. All right, so now slide forward into in your chair again, so you have a nice upright stance through your back. And we're gonna pull the hand, the palms are up, and pull your elbows back. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then press your hands forward, separate shoulder blades. We want the arms to stay pretty much parallel to the earth. So palms up, pull the elbows back, squeeze shoulder blades together, press the hands forward, and separate shoulder blades. So there's our movement. And if you're able to and want to, you could stand from the chair here. And then you could find warrior one, say. And do this in the warrior one stance. Yeah. Good. If you are standing, the next time your hands come back, elbows back, let's just straighten the front leg, let hands rest down to your sides. If you're sitting in a chair, just come to arms down to your sides. Okay, for those of you that chose to stand there, you want to take the second side, so opposite foot forward. All right, and continue with the exercise. For those of us sitting, you could do another round. Yeah, about the same time on both sides. Okay, and then come to resting your hands on your legs. If you're standing, you could come back to the seat, or you could stand into Tadasana here. Lengthen through your tailbone. So especially those of us sitting in the chair, it's real easy to get lazy and kind of slouch back. It's also can be in your habit to overarch the back. So see if you can find a neutral lumbar spine, neither slumped or overarched. Press your tailbone, reach your tailbone like you're trying to take it down into the chair, and the top of your head reaches up, 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 up. Yeah. Now from this position, imagine that you're lifting through your side body, lifting through the side body. We'll take the right hand to the edge of the chair, lift the left arm up, and just take a little side bend. Might be tricky with wherever you have to put your hand. You might put, I'm actually reaching back a little bit so I don't have my right shoulder up in my ear, or just drape it alongside your chair. Keep the back of your neck long here, and keep that same orientation in your spine. Notice if you overarch here, it's just a lateral bend. Back up, you can let your left arm drop down, reach the right arm up, take a lateral bend in the other direction. Right arm up, lateral bend to the left. And release. Bring your elbows together, forearms together in front of your body, upper arms parallel to the earth. And you're just going to open the aperture, close the aperture. So the tendency will be to drop your elbows. So keep your elbows lifted, your upper arms parallel to the ground, and just open and close, palms together. Ooh, yeah. And you're going to feel this in a few rounds here. Great. Then turn the palms towards you, open, the aperture, close, open, close. And again, notice, so my tendency as a body, an embodied human, is to overarch my back to make all these things a little easier and get my back into it. Put your back into it, right? So see if you can keep your spine neutral. Your lumbar spine is not overarching to make the pose happen. This is in the shoulders as much as possible. Yeah, and then release. Of course, our whole body is always involved in all movements, so you can shake out your arms, but we want to be aware of how we overcompensate with some part of our body. Okay, now we'll pitch forward, hands forward, stand up from the chair, and you're going to want the chair in the orientation so that you can have the seat of the chair. And you'll bring if this works for you, bring your foot to the seat of the chair and come into a lunge. You can take your hands to the back of the chair here in this lunge, and we'll go back and forth. Depending on the height of the chair, you're not going to be able to, you can come forward in the lunge and then back. You won't be able to probably straighten your leg completely, the leg on the chair. Now, if you have a sticky mat, if you want to put your chair on a sticky mat so that it doesn't move and your back foot is secure on the sticky mat, chair on the front of the sticky mat, your back foot here. So what I'm finding as I do this, it's very nice. I got this, when I'm forward in this lunge, I can get this nice stretch on my back calf, the foot on the floor. And I'm working my particular tight spot right now, which is my new knee. I'll move back and forth with that a little bit, but I find the holding is quite nice for both my tight knee and my back calf. And then what I'm going to do is take my hands down to the seat of the chair, then come into the fold on the front leg. So I straighten the front leg as much as possible. You might have to scoot the back foot, and then I come into a fold here, or a pyramid shape with my foot on the chair. Okay. I'll sneak that foot out. Come up onto the toes of my back foot, sneak it out, and press the leg back and find warrior three. And then both feet to the floor. And here's our downward facing dog. So pressing through your hamstrings, like you're going to try to take them to the space behind you. Hands on the chair. Kind of spin your triceps down towards the floor. There we go. There's our downward facing dog with the chair. And then you can walk your feet up to the chair. Come to a halfway lift. Bend slightly through your knees and press up to stand. Beautiful. Now, step the right foot back slightly. Take the left foot to the chair and come into that same lunge position we did on the other side. And again, you can go back and forth. You take your hands to the seat of the chair. We'll get there eventually, or you can keep your hands up onto the back of the chair and kind of play with holding the lunge and that back leg, which is my right leg now, heel down, really stretching the calf muscle, the Achilles tendon. Then the hands come to the seat of the chair for that pyramid stretch. So good stretch on the hamstring here, this lifted leg. Okay. And then you kind of press back, release that foot, swing it back out, balancing in warrior three. And then take your left foot to the floor, scoot back slightly, find downward facing dog. And try bending through your knees and keep reaching the hands forward and the hips back. And then straighten the legs. And kind of bow, so more of a downward dog shape, and then bend through the knees, lift your gaze towards the seat of the chair. Hips back. Yeah. And then straighten your legs and rock yourself forward. Let feet back and see if you come into sort of a variation of upward facing dog. So the chest is forward, you're stacked over your hands. I'm not turning my toes. I'm not putting the tops of my feet to the floor. This is pretty strong, so gauge your energy for this. And then press the hips back, walk the feet forward, halfway lift. Bend through your knees, set your hips back, sweep the arms up as you stand up. And then soft release. Okay. Now, we're going to do a couple of standing postures with the chair, and you're going to have to play with whether you want to use the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. I'll show both. So right foot between the back legs of the chair and left foot back with the heel turned out, the toes forward about 30 degrees. This is our beginning posture for if we go into warrior two or extended side angle or triangle. So we're going to go into extended side angle first. So as I bend through my front knee, this is the leg position for warrior two, extended side angle. I'm just going to rest my forearm on the top of the chair. Bring my arm up and over. Okay. What am I trying to accomplish in this posture? Length from the back heel through the top arm. So if this is happening with your forearm on the back of the chair, great. And if you need to turn the chair around and come a little deeper to the seat of the chair, you can do that, right? Where we're going next, though, is triangle. So you might have to change the orientation of your chair, but simply straighten that front leg. So my hands resting on the chair, seat of the chair, and top arm reaching up and over. I could also use the my forearm, my hand on the back of the chair. And here's my triangle pose, nice and open in the chest, in the front of the body. And you can play with here when it's not so deep and you've got the support of the chair, some of the nuances of triangles. So press the front to our right foot, press that big toe into the floor. And then externally rotate the thigh, the right thigh. So you have a kind of a spiraling through that leg. Press into the back heel. So your left foot really press into the outside of that back heel. Cool. Now, to come out, we're going to windmill this left arm, bring it forward, turn the back toes, both hands to the back of the chair, and bend the front knee slightly. So you have a crescent lunge shape. Beautiful. And then step forward, got your chair for balance, and we'll go to the other side. Okay, so here we go, left foot between the back legs of the chair. Find a nice open stance, right foot back and the toes turned forward, heel out about 30 degrees. Bending through the front knee, find extended side angle. And maybe just play with a more upright position this first time. You can always stop the recording and try it. Same thing with on the seat of the chair. And then find your triangle by straightening the front leg. That's all you should have to do. And you're keeping the chest nice and open. So you're scooping the belly to the right. Ooh, top arm lifts up, 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 up. And then you can play. You've got this really supportive use of the chair. So press into the big toe. And then externally rotate the left thigh. Feel that spiraling action through your legs. Through your leg, your left leg. Great. Relax your neck, relax your head. Windmill the right arm, turn the back toes. Both hands to the chair, bend front knee, and you have a crescent lunge shape. If it's in your ability to leave the chair with your hands, you could raise your hands up. And maybe, we've warmed up to that, or maybe whatever the challenge in your body, your being is right now allows you to do that. Whatever works for you. And then pitch forward, lean forward, step forward. Okay. And just come to Tadasana with the chair. Okay. Let's do one balancing posture with the chair. Hand on the chair. Weight in the left foot. Right foot sets on top of left foot, or lift the right leg and externally rotate that leg so that you can come into a Vrksasana shape. You can play with taking your hand away from the chair. Again, it's just whatever you're dealing with right now in practice. Can also just be what your balance is like that day, this particular day. Any given day. It's always different. Come out. Shake your legs a bit, bounce your heels. Second side. weight into the right foot. Left foot can just rest right on top. Or we can externally rotate that thigh, bringing your foot against the leg, calf. Yeah, some people say don't press against the knee. I mean, you can put it there, but you don't want to put a lot of pressure into the knee, or you can bring it all the way up to the inside of your thigh. And then wherever you have it, just engage enough to keep those two surfaces, the sole of the foot and the leg, friendly. Notice if you're over efforting, how can you make it easier? Release. Right here might feel good just to move the hips around. Maybe do a big side stretch. Do some sort of vinyasa, so downward dog to upward dog or to a lunge. Just play with that. And in doing this class, my assumption is that you aren't going to go back down to the floor, but if you're able to, or you want to, just go down to the floor now. And just when you come back to the floor, allow your body to kind of guide you. If you're sitting in the chair, we'll take a twist to the right. So I'm going to turn my body to the right. So sort of at a 45-degree angle to the chair. My right hand comes back behind me to the other side of the chair. And my left will go to the outside of my right thigh. And that's going to be my twist. If you're on your back, on the floor, any number of twist poses you can engage with. Just dropping the knees to the right and stacking them, or crossing the right leg on top of the left leg, Gomukhasana legs, and then dropping them to the right. You choose what fits best for you. Yeah, and we'll unwind, come back, and again, about 45 degrees to the chair. Left hand to the opposite side of the chair, right hand to the outside of my left leg, and find a twist here. Great. And anything else you need. If you're coming back to the chair, if you had used something for lumbar support, so that you're sitting up nice and tall, you can find that again. Take your blocks. I don't want to put my blocks underneath my feet here. Yeah. All right. And I'm just going to guide for a couple minutes as I leave you in some stillness. So I just wonder what it would feel like to be completely free from all the attachments that we have. So close your eyes down and soften your hands Soften the space between your brow, the muscles around your eyes. I'm sitting, looking outside a big window. It's fall, and I'm watching one leaf at a time just float through the air softly, just taking its place, floating to the ground. Imagine that you're like that leaf in the fall that's had its glory, and now it's just gently floating to the earth. It's not attached to the trunk anymore, to the branch. So what would it feel like if you, just for right now, were not a parent, were not a child, a daughter or son, were not a sister or brother, partner or lover. You weren't a worker, a cook. You weren't a friend. You weren't a yogi. You were completely free, like the leaf dropping to the earth. And stay as long as you like. Namaste.